Welcome back to the All Right Talk Show. Joining me this week is the UK's leading refurbishment expert, trainer, coach and mentor, Mr. Paul Tinker. Paul, thanks for coming on the show. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Thanks, you.
Yeah, excellent. Not too bad. So let's jump straight into it then. So just tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
So, as you said, I run a construction company delivering refurbishment services to property investors. I also run a training business that teaches, helps, coaches, guidance, and mentors those investors looking to project manage a service themselves, project manage a project themselves, or to just try and get an understanding for how the industry works. And my ultimate mission is to change the image of the industry.
Yeah, because builders get quite a bad rep, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And, like with any industry, there's charlatans and sharks in every industry. Just seems to be that in construction, there's this, I don't even know what it is really that leads people to very quickly jump on the easy cowboy bandwagon, if you like. Now, for me, that label comes from an expectation being met, and 9 times out of 10, expectation not being met, should I say. 9 times out of 10, that's down to a sort of a lack of communication between the two parties at the onset, at the during, and then at the after. What was agreed, what wasn't agreed, what did you expect as a result of that service, and the management of that level of communication is really, really key and important.
Yeah, I totally agree. And one thing that I always pick up from you, like on your socials and your videos and even your training, was just be specific in absolutely everything. Be specific.
Yeah, 100%, mate.
100%. Yeah. Cool. So how long have you personally been in property, and like how long did you decide from go to like construction into training?
So I've always sort of been in property, shall we say? Since I left the military in 2007, I went to work for landlords, ultimately housing associations, but still the landlords all the same. So I've been around property for a long, long time, delivering refurbishment services to a local authority, whilst I was employed, of course. I started as a site manager, and I worked my way up through the ranks through a couple of different businesses. I left that in 2018 to set up my own construction company. I was sick of sort of making money for other people, and the same story as everybody else gets into property.
Yeah.
So I set my own construction company up with a view to renovating my own property portfolio. The first property deal that I went into, lost a shit ton of money, about $7,000 altogether, because I was buying it wrong. I was entering into the deal wrong, and it sort of set me off on a bit of a, do you know what? I'm doing something wrong here. So I went and got some property training. That property training was awesome in terms of what I got from it. When I went into the training, I didn't expect to get what I got from it, and that was the whole mindset piece around property training. Yes, I learned some property strategy, and I learned some approaches to buying and selling property, but that wasn't my biggest takeaway. The biggest takeaway for me was the whole mindset piece, which is a really common thing for people to bolt onto property training, and I'm truly grateful for that. I ended that property training in 2018, and then it was right now. It's time to stop solely working for others and start working for myself. So I started building my own portfolio from there, and we've just really just grown nicely. From there, became a trainer in 2019 August on a beach in Turkey, and there was me sat with the wife on the beach, chinning and moaning that I'm getting all these inquiries in from people, investors approaching my construction business without any sort of approach, just literally ringing up and saying how much for a refurb, mate. And it used to drive me bonkers, absolutely bonkers, when I'd go back because I'd come from a corporate background. I'd go back with really sort of, not formal questions, but real sort of basic level questions. Well, what is it that you want me to do? And 9 times out of 10, the people I was dealing with, they didn't have a clue what it was that they wanted me to do. They just wanted a refurb. And it was like, you can't just ask me for a refurb. I need some guidance, some direction. well, my last builder never asked me for that. And it's like, well, that doesn't make it right, mate. And, you know, I grew so frustrated with this thing. I was on the beach with the missus. I said, that's it. I'm not working with any more fucking property investors. That's it. I'm just staying in the Mrs. Miggins world, and I'm going to just go plaster the local old lady's ceilings, and we'll leave it there. And she's, no. Let's work with these property investors, and let's try and educate them in some way. And I said, I'm not doing that. It takes too much time. I ain't got time to get an inquiry and then coach them through how they need to inquire. And she, well, why don't you know, you're an ex-military training instructor. You like teaching, you like training, you like sharing. So let's set something up. I was like, well, okay. So she literally booked me a hotel in Hull for, you know, that's how the events used to run, right? Before COVID, everybody went to a hotel and you had the old free event, and,
Those were the
I
days.
did that. We didn't set it from Turkey, and it was on the plane on the way back, and it dawned on me. I said, "Did you book that event today?" And she went, "Yeah, I think it was today," and it wasn't. It was the following day. So I'd landed in the airport, and we had to hot tail it up to the hotel for this event that we'd booked. Got up to the event, delivered the event, and there was, I think, about 30 people turned up to that one-day event, and 12 of them bought a training, and we was like, wow, fuck, there must be something in this, you know? People are maybe people are interested in this, and it's not just me ranting about stuff. So people did get value from what I'd said, and sort of like, I could see that they were kind of thinking, do you know what, we need this in our projects, and we need to be running these properly. So at this point, by the way, the training didn't exist. This was just an idea I had on a plane. And it was like, right, now I'd better design a training around this thing now. I knew what I wanted to say and what I wanted to teach, but there was no structure to it or anything. So I came up with this course, created this course, and really it's just expanded and grown from there. You know, as I've experienced more things and experienced working with more investors, more students, more people asking more questions, the course has grown and grown and grown. So it went from a 2-day course to a 3-day to a 4-day, and it's now 5-day with 3 months support. So what was a 2-day course is now 3 months. You know, and it's the same sort of structure that I deliver. Just it's not over a longer period. It's just there's just so much more to it though. You know, the knowledge and skills were always there, but I don't know what people need to know until they ask. You know, so I've kind of built it to suit the audience. So, I mean, I love doing it. I absolutely love doing it. And to have that depth of knowledge that I have and that level of experience that I have, to be able to put that across to someone else and show them how it's done, it's a phenomenal experience and phenomenal for me to experience, you know, for my own development, you know, I hate the buzz phrases of giving back and all that, but that really is what it is, you know. And yeah, I do love doing it. I love the buzz of it as well.
Yeah, I can see you're really passionate about it, Paul, and it's great to see it. It's even better as well how your rants, you've made like your own business out of your own rants. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah. Square meter rates for dummies.
Yeah,
for those
yeah. That should be that should be the title of your book if you ever write a book. Square meter rates for dummies.
Well, it's very close to that. The book that I'm writing, the title is very, very close to that, but I won't give that away yet.
Oh, okay. Yes, you are writing a book. Interesting.
There's a swear word in there.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So yeah, just going from what you said actually about this whole, can you give me a refurb? Like, 'cause you do have like this like no bullshit approach to refurbs, and rightly so. So like, you know, what does, because you know, it's just in your training as well. It's kind of like, can I have a 20K, that needs a 20K refurb, or like, where do these people come up with these figures? Just want to talk a little bit about how that frustrates you and how, just do a little kind of a quick breakdown of how you should do a refurb.
Let's talk about where to get that number from to begin with now.
Yeah.
I personally believe that they get that number from their peer groups. So it might be from a training, it might be from a Facebook group, it might be from something that they've heard somewhere. And they kind of take that on board as gospel. You know, I saw on Facebook that a refurb costs £200 per square meter, or whatever that number is that's bandied about at the time. You know, and people asking questions in Facebook groups, how much should a refurb be? And when I see that, I fucking lose my shit. You know, especially when someone gives them an answer. And I think that's where that comes from. And the way that you've got to approach it, you cannot approach the size of the property, the footprint size of the property has got absolutely fuck all to do with how much work needs to be done in that property. Absolutely none. You know, there's no correlation between the two. There's no relationship between the two. The size and how much plastering needs doing. The size and how many doors need changing. The size and does it need a kitchen. The two things are completely independent. You know, you can have a 100 square meter property or a 10,000 square meter property. Neither of those tell you whether it needs a kitchen replacement or not. You know, it's the only way that you can price that work up is by following a process. And we have a process in my construction business where I price up work, and I follow a set process every single time. So I'll go to the property, and the first thing that I need to do is look at what the prelim cost is, which is my running cost as a builder. So I've got to look at that project, and I've got so many considerations to make before I even open the front door. Where's the skip going? Where's the guy's going to park? Where's the hospital? Can I get a scaffold up safely? Does it need a scaffold to go up? What's the external facade of the building like? What's access going to be like? Is there a school nearby? Am I going to be impacted by deliveries? How wide or narrow is the road? Can I get delivery trucks down this road? Am I going to have issue offloading any materials? You know, so many different things that come to mind in that initial assessment right there before I even go through the front door. And then once I'm in the front door, I'm going to start. I'll start attacking what needs to be done. And there's two ways of doing it, either trade by trade or room by room. I personally like to do it trade by trade because it's easier for me. But I've got the skills, knowledge, and experience to do that. Now, for those starting out, I would recommend you do room by room, just so you don't miss anything. Now, trade by trade, what I can do, because I know the schedule works, the programmer works, I know how that comes down on that Gantt chart from top left to bottom right. I know what those trades are down the left. Off the top of my head, I obviously do. So the first thing I want to be doing is looking at the rip out. What's the extent of the rip out? How much waste is going to come out of this thing? How many skips will that require to do that? You know, is there a damp course involved? And if there is, how much hacking off have I got to do? All these things, there's such like, I can do this in my head as I'm walking around. But, you know, until you've got the skills, knowledge, and experience to do that, it makes it really difficult to do that. Then I'm going to start looking at the wiring. You know, do I need a full rewire? Is it just a board change? Do I need just to upgrade the number of sockets per room? Do I need just a new ring main in the kitchen? What's the lighting circuit like? Am I putting spotlights in? All these things. And then I'll do that throughout a process, throughout all of the trades that then are going to follow. But before all that, I need to know what I'm doing with the house. What am I going to do with this property? And then all the works that get done in there have to be aligned with what you're going to do with it. So as this is going to be a buy-to-let exit, it will have an approach. If it's a flip for sale, then it will have an approach. If it's a HMO conversion, it will have an approach. If I'm turning it into a shop or a shop into a house, whatever that is, there's going to be a different specification based upon the exit. And those two things have to be aligned before you even start pricing it up. So you've got to look at these things. A lot of things that people miss is the external envelope of the building. You know, people ignore the requirement of pointing. Windows often get missed. The roof nearly always gets missed. External work such as patios, garden walls, fencing, all that kind of jazz, the turf, tarmac, concrete, block paving, chimneys, all that stuff. Generally, external works get missed because investors, they turn up at a house and they're so excited to get inside and start speccing it and taking walls out in the head and fitting bifolds in the head and moving staircases in the head. Then they walk out and you ask them for information and they didn't get any information other than the design that they did for the colour of the fucking chimney breast in the bedroom that they're going to finish up with. And then there's the approach it's so long. You know, I've been in this game a long time, and it takes me a good day to price up a refurb if I'm to do it properly. So for someone with no skills, knowledge, and experience to turn up at our property viewing in 15 minutes and give me a price at the end of it is a fucking joke. And, you know, without any thought as to what the exit is, the design, the works that actually need to be done, and all these things that all form part of that refurb. And what tends to happen is the works will start without an approach, without a plan. And it's just kind of, they get the keys and start ripping out themselves. And then they'll ring the Sparky. The Sparky will come 2 weeks later and he'll price it up. And then before you know it, what should be a 4-week project becomes 6, 7, 8, 9 months or whatever that is. And I know I've just ranted on there and gone off on loads of tangents, but you set me off.
No, that's the perfect answer of what I was looking for. I wanted that reaction from you because like I know how much it pisses you off, the whole 20k refurb culture, and I think it's like, wow, everyone is listening to this. That's basically you've just debunked it, and I think it's I'm hoping to see more of a shift of people like pricing stuff up. So I know you've got two guys that I recommended for your course, Harley and Guy, because they are property sources, and they want to do a good job for their investors. That's why I know they're coming on your course, so they don't have to give just a builder quotes. They can actually go in there into the properties and do as much and due diligence as possible and get a more accurate price than just going off the back of, oh yeah, that's 10k. You see loads of people do it, and it pisses you off on the property groups.
Yeah. It does, yeah. I mean, a lot of people know that about me now, and there's a bit of sport goes about, and people drop bombs into groups like that, and then they'll tag me in it because they know it's going to crank me up and piss me off. And I'm part of a WhatsApp group for a property network in the Northeast, in Darlington, and there's a guy in there. Do you follow a guy called Jamie the Property Pigeon on Instagram?
I don't know, no. I will now, though.
Fucking funny. Anyway, he jumped into this WhatsApp group last night and said, how much are people paying per square metre for a refurb? And then he left. He just left me ranting to myself.
Shit stirrer, isn't he? He's a proper shit stirrer.
Yeah, proper. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, moving on from that, then let's talk about some of your work. Then, so like, what's been like one of the best jobs that you've worked on, and maybe run us through some GDVs on that.
Oh, now then, I'll tell you what, it's a really interesting question, because the language that you just used is language that I often hear from property investors as well. You use the word best. Now, what do you mean by best?
You're picking me now, aren't you?
I find language that people use is really, it's great, for you to know what do you mean by best? Because
okay,
a lot of
something that you've okay. I should have been more specific, shouldn't I? So the one that you've enjoyed the most, maybe enjoyed, this is two different things here. So let's go with one that you've enjoyed the most, and then on the other hand, one that you've got your most profited one.
Oh, my most profitable. Oh, now then. See, that's a very different question.
It is.
My most profitable refurb has got to be one of my own. It's never going to be one that I've done for someone else. So that would be probably my most recent. I obviously get better and better and better every time I do one. So we just bought one 2 up, 2 down terrace. We paid 50k for it, and we spent 9,700 and something. I think the final bill was 9,780 off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And we've just had a reval of 100 grand. Now, them deals aren't there for everyone. I can obviously build for less than most people, having my own team and having the skills, knowledge, and experience to do it. But the biggest key, the biggest reduction that you will see in costs is how quick you do it. That project took 4 weeks in total. So that enables me to start drawing rent quicker, to stop paying council tax quicker, to stop paying insurance quicker, to be able to get rid of my lending and get my finance back out, and most importantly, to start the next one. So we've just had an offer accepted on another one around the corner, and that's the very similar numbers. The bill cost is going to be slightly higher, but we've bought for 50. It'll reval at 100 grand, but I might spend about 16 or 17 on that. So those are the most profitable, the most enjoyable. The most enjoyable. Now then, I would have to say it was for a client in Scunthorpe. And it's really odd you've just asked me that, because I've been talking about this particular project all day on site to the lads.
Yeah.
And it was the most enjoyable because it was the most comical for us as builders. You can imagine.
Yeah.
We had this really green investor that come. It's his first project. He'd never seen or experienced contractors, builders, tradesmen before. So he's come to turn up on his own site, and we had a laser set up on a wall, a laser level, ready to cut the wall with a steel saw. We was opening this thing up. with for an open plan kitchen diner. We had this laser set up on the wall, and he come in and he went, "What's that? What's that laser for? There, is that to cut the wall with?" And I was like, "What?" As he just asked, and I didn't say anything. I thought he was joking at first. And he went, "That's a right bit of kit, that, isn't it?" And I went, "Yeah, mate, yeah, I'll cut straight through that like a knife through butter." Thinking that he'd start laughing, and he genuinely thought this laser was going to cut the wall. So anyway, he went away to get some, I think he went to get some chips from a chippy or something, and he came back a couple of hours later and we'd made the cut and knocked the hole out. And I just bought a brand new blade for my stilly. So this cut was absolutely perfect. It did look like it had been cut with a laser. And when he came back, he ran his hand down the cut and he went, "Fucking hell, that laser's awesome. Where can I buy one from?" As you can imagine, all the lads, it was falling about the place. Oh, it was funny.
Oh,
Funny.
mate, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was the same job. Remember on the training I told you about Ian, the labourer with the shitting in the garden?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that job as well.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's
the same job, yeah.
Yeah, that does sound like a fun job. Oh, I kind of wish I was on that site as a labourer myself just to see the comical. Awesome. All right, yeah, cool. Yeah, great answers. All right, so moving on to the next thing then. What's your plans for the future? Are you going to do anything new or different with yourself or the company?
Yeah. I'm sort of toying with. I've got the plans for the next 12 months is to add £1 million to the portfolio, and I want to do it. Anyone can do that, right? But I want to do it with the same deposit. That's my plan. I want to prove to myself that is physically possible. So this year so far, we're only on the 15th of Jan, and we're just using the same. We just pulled the deposit out of one to put into another. So we're on number 2. And if that goes to plan, I'll be on number 3 by the end of Feb. So that would be, we work on the same sort of types of properties. So that'll be 300 grand by the end of Feb, hopefully. And if it goes to plan, I'm going to be able to keep doing that for the year. It's a goal. It's got financial gain, of course it has, but it's more of the challenge of proving the fact that it can be done rather than actually adding the value to the portfolio. What other goals do I have this year? I'm going to do Hadrian's Wall, 3 peaks, as in Scafell, Snowdon, and Ben Nevis, not the Yorkshire ones. And in the next 5 years, I'm going to have a TV show.
Oh, amazing.
That's the big goal.
Yes.
And the TV show is going to be, if you've seen Grand Designs, Under the Hammer, all those types of programs, they're always sort of client focused and building owner led. So it's always the guy that's got the property and he's doing the work. It might be someone that's bought a property in auction and they're doing the work. And I want to put a different spin on it and do it from the builder's perspective. So, my series, I want to do a series of, what we have to do to set up a site and do it all through the builder's eyes rather through the client's eyes.
Interesting.
I think it'd be great. I think it's a great concept anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll do it. We'll do it on YouTube to start with because I've just took on an in-house videographer and marketer. She starts on the 1st of Feb, which I'm absolutely buzzing for, and she's a magician, by the way.
Awesome.
So we're going to make a start on that, put some concept ideas together first, and then we're going to start in a couple of years' time. Once we've got a few episodes under our belt, start pitching that to a few stations and see where we go, see where we can take it. So that's proper exciting.
Wow, yeah. You know what? I'm buzzing for you. I can't wait to see that. Yeah, that's going to be really enjoyable and a totally different side of the spectrum, isn't it? Yeah. Awesome stuff. Great goals. All right, cool. So advice for others. Just give us one piece of advice that you'd like people that are listening to this show to take away from this episode.
Stop using fucking square meter rates to price at work. No, seriously. What one thing I would say is that before you buy a property, you've got to know what you're going to do with it. You can't go into this thing buying a property without having true clarity of the exit. Now, I hear so many people talk about multiple exits and having a backup exit. Now, for me personally, and this is my honest but accurate opinion, is that if you're going to buy a property to sell and you can't sell it at the end, you fucking bought the wrong property. If you're going to buy a property to rent out and you can't get it tenanted at the end, you bought in the wrong area. So the error comes at the point of purchase rather than at the back end where we're saying we can't sell it or I can't get it tenanted. if you're buying a rental, it needs to be in an area that's going to rent. If you're buying a flip, it needs to be in an area that people want to live, right? So for me, that's my opinion. I was on that what's that thing called? Where I was this morning, Chat House or whatever it's called,
Shit house, whatever
Clubhouse.
it's called.
Clubhouse.
Yeah.
I was talking about this morning. I was listening to a few guys on there. Everybody's banging on about multiple exits and make sure you've got that backup plan and make sure you've got that secondary exit. For me, make sure that your plan A is so fucking robust that you don't need a plan B.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, no, solid advice there, Paul. Yeah, love that. So yeah, take note, folks. Yeah, have your plan and stick with it and make sure you choose the right property for that plan. Excellent. Yeah. So I've just got 3 last questions for the show and they're just quick fire ones. So yeah, so we'll just bang into it then. So number 1, favorite movie, go.
Favorite movie? Oh,
Yeah.
mate, I could talk for hours about that. Shawshank, Con Air. Can I just have one? Can I have one? Shawshank. It's got to be Shawshank.
Shawshank. Yeah. Yeah, love it. I think we might have had
Con Air, all the Rambos.
Yeah, you know what? We should dedicate another episode just to talk about movies, you and I, because I think we could go for hours.
Yeah. Oh, I could talk all day about movies.
Awesome, mate. All right, cool. Yeah. Second question: favorite destination
that I've been or want to go.
Entirely. Let's do both if you like. Do both.
So where I want to go has got to be Oz, and where I've been is Canada.
Amazing. See, I've been to Oz, but I want to go to Canada. Yeah. Awesome.
Oh, Canada's mint, mate. Different world.
Did you go skiing there or just the cities or?
At the time I was drinking, so I just got pissed constantly. It was ace.
I love it, mate. Love it. All right, cool. And third and final question, this should be an easy one for you to answer, is name something that grinds your gears and you can only have one thing. It's not what you like.
I'm trying not to be impulsive. I can't think of anything else but fucking people that price up work with square meter rates.
There you go. Well, that'll do. That'll do nicely, I think. All right, awesome, mate. So finally then, how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, or either straight onto the website, www.constructiontrainingacademy.com. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn, and what's the other one? Chat House, whatever. I fucking keep forgetting the name of it. Clubhouse. All of those platforms, or just send me an email.
Yeah, brilliant.
Email to info@constructiontrainingacademy.com.
Awesome. Yeah. Excellent. Well, Paul, honestly, really thank you for your time. You've been an amazing guest. I'm sure people will see a lot of value from this, actually. Honest truth in property.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah, excellent. All right. So that's been the All Right Talk Show. We'll see you again next week. Ciao for now.